Hello students, welcome to etechtales. Today we will begin with the second portion, the second video of Unit 2. Here we will talk about 5 topics. This is going to be one of the big videos. So please do watch the video from start to end because it is very informative and important questions does come from here. So here we will talk about value maximization. We will talk on alternative objectives of the firm. Then there is the goals of real world firms. Then firms constants and the basic factors of decision making, that is the incremental concept. So these are all related to your IGNOU University content. So you can straight away take it from there and you can understand. All right. So, herein we will begin with the value maximization. So, why value maximization? Since it is one of the major objective of every firm, they aim to maximize profit, right? So, that can also be a short-term profit, can be a long-term profit. The short-term profit is based on the near future aspect, and the long term profit is based on the future profit, that is until the company or the firm goes on. Okay, so these are mostly the long term projects and they are the short term projects. The theory that is stated to value maximization, it says the objective of the firm is to maximize wealth or value of the firm, or value of the firm, that is discounted of all future profits. There is a definition, or there is a summary on the numerical presentation regarding the value of the firm, which I'll tell you later. But before that, I'll just make you understand very basic thing on a timeline basis of a firm. Okay, so suppose this is a timeline of a firm, and this is the present scenario of the firm, right? So after 1 year, there is a profit. After second year, there is a profit, and after third year there is another profit. Okay, I am assuming that the profit in the first year, that is from here to here, this is the first year, this is the second year, this is the third year. Okay, so in the first year the company has a profit of 1000 rupees. Okay, in the second year the company has 1200 rupees of profit, and in the third year the company has a profit of 1500. Okay, so to calculate or to get the value of this whole stuff, we have to understand that standing in the present in the present year, that is suppose 0 year, which is right now running, I want to know that what is the profit that I can make today, that I can expect today from these things, from these profits. What is the present value of these profits, right? This I'm going to make after 1 year, this I'm going to make after 2 years, and this is what I'm going to make after 3 years. So today standing, what is the profit that I can, what is the amount that I have to, that profit that I can make from these 3 years. So there is a factor that is used here in this scenario to get the extract of these 3 years profit, that is called discounting rate. Okay, the rate is called discounting rate. Counting rate. Okay, I'm assuming that the rate here, that is around say 5% will be good. Let's say 5%. Okay. So with this 5%, I can understand the wealth that I can get now, or that I can project now for the upcoming 3 years, or I can understand the value of the firm. Okay. I can understand the value of the firm. So here I will be trying to determine the value of the firm. Okay. So these things that I'm going to get, I'm going to abstract or obtain, that I'll explain it to you. Okay. Let's start. So there is a mathematical, there is a mathematical derivation or an example to which there is a formula actually with which you can determine this whole stuff. Okay. The formula that is used here is called the value of the firm, and the formula is presented as PV, PV by pi 1, that's 1 by 1 plus r to the power whole 1 plus 1 plus r whole 2 a 1 plus. Now why I have written for 3 up to 3? Because I want to find out for 3 years only. This can go on till going on till n numbers. So it can be written as pi n divided by 1 plus r to the power n. Okay. So right now I have the value of discounting rate, which I can put here, and I know that these are the amount that I will be getting. So this is nothing but, okay. So these are the pi. This is pi 1, this is pi 2, and this is pi 3. Okay. This is r. This is given in percentage, which we have to change into point decimal fraction. And with this, we can determine the value. So the first is added by 1 plus 0.05 to the power 1, right? Add 1200 divided by 1 plus 0.05 to the power whole square plus 1500 divided by 1 plus 0.05 3. Okay. So from here, you will get the values as 952.38 and 88 for this one. And the third one is 1208.7. Okay, I'll write it down. Plus 1290.87. So from here we get approximately around 3332.13. Okay. So this is the PV. That is the present value. So you see, I have used a formula here, this one. You need to remember this formula for solving these kind of sums because they are asked. It is a very easy question. It is they ask on their own need, like they can ask you for the formula of this value of the firm, which I will be telling you. From here you can understand that this is a summation formula. Okay, so the formula that we can derive from here is, I'm writing it down here. Here I'll write it. Okay, the formula is mm, I'll write it down first and then I will tell you the pronunciation. I. So how it is actually pronounced? The pronunciation is the present value of pi is equal to the summation from t equals 1 to n of pi sub to the base t over 1 plus r raised to t. Okay, raised to the power of t. Again I'll say PV, present value of pi, is equal to the summation from t equals 1 to n of pi to the base t over 1 plus r to the power raised to t. Okay, so the summation that begins from t equals 1 up to n numbers, wherein pi to the base t is numbers divided by 1 plus r to the power t. T is actually the time period. The time is denoted by t, wherein 1 it can go on to n numbers, and 1 plus r is the discounting factor. Okay, this can, in your university study material, they have stated a revenue based value as well, which you can write as well. So that is another formula which you can use, which is another substitute to this one. Okay, so I hope you have understand the value maximization problem. Okay, the value of the firm. So next, move on to the next point, the alternative objective of the firm. Here you will be seeing there are different economists. They have provided 4 to 5. There are 4 economists here who have given their opinion regarding the objectives of the firm. Okay, the objective is little bit like different because it is based on different economists, but you have to understand that they have a common goal, as they want that these are also the alternate objectives of the firms. Okay, so in the first scenario, there are the economists, they have examined that various objectives of the firm, um, and we will discuss some of those here. According to Baumol, most managers, they aim to maximize sales revenue. There are several reasons for this. The trend in sales revenue is a readily available indicator of a firm's performance, and the growth in sales enhances the firm's competitive strength. So in the long run, sales maximization and profit maximization, they may converge into a single objective. Okay, sales maximization and profit maximization, they may converge into one objective. So there comes another economist, Robin Maris. He offers another perspective, assuming that the owners and managers have different utility functions to maximize. Now, what is utility function? Utility functions mean the power of utilization of certain objectives to maximize the profit. Now, what are the facilities or the utilities? For example, it can be a salary, it can be job, it can be prestige, it can be power, status, etc. Like the manager's utility function, it is denoted by UM. It includes salary, job security, power, prestige, and status. Now, the owner's utility function, that is UO, is it includes output, capital, profit, and share value. So, by maximizing these variables, the managers can enhance both their own utility and that of the owners. So, since many of these variables correlate with the firm's size, Maris argues that the managers will aim to maximize the firm's growth rate. So, however, this doesn't completely discard the profit maximization objective. Okay, it goes parallel, but it does not disregard. Okay, this is another view by Mr. Robin Maris. All right. So, coming to Mr. Oliver Williamson, he suggests that managers seek to maximize their own utility function. Now, why this subject to achieving a minimum level of profit? This utility functions include quantifiable variables like salary and slack earnings, and non-quantifiable variables like and power status and job security. Okay, great. So, Mr. Cyrus March model, he focuses on satisfying behavior of the managers. Okay, the firms operate in an uncertain business environment. The manager must satisfy various groups that includes staffs, shareholders, customers, suppliers, and authorities. So each with they have often, since all of them, they have conflicting interests, so they have to manage. To coincide these conflicting goals, the managers set an aspiration level for the firm, combining objectives such as production, sales, market share, inventory, and profit. Okay, these aspiration levels are adjusted based on the achievements and the changing business environment. So, as with most economic models here, their application depends on the situation, right? And no single model is definitely better than the others. All are depending on the nature, right? Generally, the profit maximizing assumption is a reasonable approximation of the real world, though there are cases where the firms may derive from this objective. So, in the first one, there is a profit maximization and the sales maximization objective, which was stated by Mr. Baumol, which is one of the best ones. Okay. So, out of the conflicting ones, this is one of the best ones. You can remember this, and the second one can be called for Mr. Oliver Williamson, because he also has given on talked about the utility function, which is um, another important factor of uh, profit maximization, right? Okay. So let's move on to the goals of real world. All right, here we can talk on the firms that operate beyond short term profits, where they are focusing more on long term sustainability. Okay, in large corporations, all right, in large corporations they have multiple management levels that can go from 8 to 9, and they have numerous stakeholders. They are uncountable, and there are board of directors, there are decision makers. They make a priority, they may prioritize their own pay, right? They may prioritize their own pay first, because they are potentially impacting the firm's profitability. However, firms often exert pressure on managers to meet designed designated profit targets. So firms, they exact pressure on the managers so that the manager can push the other people to work on to a pre-designed level of profit. That this has to be done. This is the target profit. You have to achieve it. So here in the second scenario, we can see that um in the evolving global global marketplace, the rise of global corporations, those transcending national boundaries, is a significant trend. So these incorporations thrive on competitiveness achieved through factors like quality, then scale, then both quality and scale, I'll rather say. Okay. And they have a focus on continuous improvement in the market. They look forward to continuous improvement, and they also look forward in product development, quantity management, then marketing skills. Okay. This this competitiveness, it is defined by Mr. Porter, as he says, it is about consistency, delivering greater value of customers than the cost incurred. I'll again say it. Um, yes. Here, this rise for competitiveness also opens up opportunities for new entrepreneurs and emerging industries, right? The global the global environment, it creates a dynamic wherein involving business that can adapt and excel in their conditions to find success. These new players, they have fresh ideas, approaches, etc. There is a word said by Mr. Porter as a sustained ability to generate more value for customers than the cost of creating that value. Essentially, it is about delivering superior value consistently and efficiently. So it has to work on more consistency and efficiency. Okay. In a summary to this one, I can say that while firms are naturally inclined to pursue profits, their strategies must balance a short term performance with the long term performance or long term sustainability. They operate within complex management structures, and the competitive market environment, both locally and globally. The rise of the global corporations that underscores the importance of competitiveness, then quality and continuous improvement, etc. We have to understand that this dynamics is crucial for everyone looking to grasp the modern business operations, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one, that is the firm's constants. Here we can talk about the main constraints actually. So, what are constraints? Constraints are restrictions that the firm faces every time it is making a decision. Okay. The first one and the foremost one is the resource one. Resource related to one big thing that is limited, that is the skilled workers, then the raw materials that the companies need to work on its operations. So many inputs may be available in a limited or in a fixed quantity. Example, skilled workers, then imported raw materials, etc. Then there are legal constraints. Why? Because both individuals and firms, they must obey the laws of the state as well as of the local laws. So there are environmental laws, there are employment laws, there are disposal of wastage laws, which are different in different countries. So it has to be obeyed. Then there comes the moral constraints. So these imply actions that are not illegal but are sufficiently consistent with generally accepted standards of behavior. Why? Because we have to follow certain behavior in every firm, that is a standard, but it is not illegal, right? Contractual constraints. These bind the firms because of some prior agreement, such as the long term lease on a building or a contract with the labor union that represents the firm's employees. Okay. So, if these are bounded, then there can be conditions wherein the decision making powers of the firm are affected directly because they have to follow the resource availability, they have to comply with the contractual constraints, it has to follow the moral and the legal constraints as well. Okay, this is a very important question, can be asked for the 5 marks. Okay. The last topic of today's class, that is the basic factors of decision making, the incremental concept. Here we will talk on the different concept that is based on decision alternatives. Why? Because incremental reasoning, it involves estimating the impact of decision alternative. Sometimes we decide to do some task and then we change it to another one. This is suppose a task to be done today and we decide not to do it today, we will do it after 1 week. So what are the compliances it can face? What are the incremental cost that it can bear? What are the incremental revenue that it will lose due to this certain change in decisions? So here we can talk on two basic concepts, which are incremental cost and incremental revenue. What is incremental cost and incremental revenue? This topic is very important for your exam. Okay, mark it important and study as per. The incremental profit is, or the sorry, the incremental cost is defined as change in total cost because of change in level of output. So when there is a change in level of output, the total cost also changes. This change, this this incremental change is called incremental cost. Okay, it can be due to change of output, it can be change of investment as well. Now coming to incremental revenue. Incremental revenue is defined as the change in total revenue resulting from a change in level of output or prices. So here the cost is related to investment, and here the revenue is directly linked to prices. Just try to remember one thing: output is related, sorry, total cost is related to investment, and revenue is related to prices. Okay, so the change in total revenue resulting from a change in the level of output or the change in prices. Whenever the price changes, then the total revenue is directly affected. So that incremental change in the revenue is called incremental revenue. The manager always determines the worth of a decision based on criteria, that is, when IR is greater than IC, when the IR incremental revenue is greater than incremental cost. So we can say, we can derive or come to a profit decision when first scenario, when there is an increased revenue, then there are when there is increased revenue, then increased loss cost. So example, if the cost of making a product is 10 rupees, okay, and the cost has increased to 12 rupees, okay, the sale value has increased from 15 rupees to 20 rupees. Okay. So in this scenario, you can understand that there is a decision of getting profit. There is a chance of getting a profit here because the cost has increased 2 rupees, but the revenue has increased, the selling price has increased from 5, from rupees 4 rupees 5. The cost increased for 2, profit increased for 5. Previously, the price was 10 to 15, that is 5 rupees. The price was 5 rupees. Okay. Now there is a chance of loss. There should always be a chance that the price increase to this will be equal. The monetary rupee went up 2 rupees and here it went up 5 rupees. So the difference is total 3 rupees. It is for 15 or 3. Sorry, this is for 5 rupees and this is for 3. So here you can see that in the first scenario, when the price was 10 and it was sold for 15, the profit was 5. Now the price is 12 and it is sold for 20. The price is what? Price is 8. So this decision making is correct. This profit decision making is correct because the cost increased, but the revenue also increased, went from 12 to 20. So the difference is 8. Alright. So the decision of here is correct, is right. When the cost is reduced, then also you can get good profit. Suppose the price was 12, it went down to 10. So the profit has increased to 10, from 8 to 10. It increases some resources more than decreasing others. So you can increase some resources, like you can increase your manpower, you can increase your decision strategies from here, like all your constraints which are there, you can one by one remove them. That will also help you to increase your resources, right? With that, you can tackle your future profits. Then you can also decrease the cost, which is more than its decreasing revenue. You can decrease your cost. The cost can go from 12 to 10. Okay. Example, the cost is reducing from 12 to 10. Okay, more than its decreasing value revenues. Suppose the price was 20 and now it has come down to 15. So this is not a right decision. You can keep it intact or you can lower it down a little less, not more than 15. Okay. So in these scenarios, mostly what you have to remember are the four key points. What are the four key points? Again, I'll say, I'll remove this. What are the four key points? Increase revenue more, that results in then the increasing cost. Increase your revenue more, reduce some cost, increase resources, and decrease your cost. Okay, so these are the four most crucial thing that you have to do to tackle the incremental cost and incremental revenue factor. As a manager, you have to decide on all these four things: increase in revenue, reduce in cost, increase in resources, decrease in cost. So here decrease in cost you can see two times more than decrease in revenues. So instead of decreasing your revenues, you have to decrease your cost. Instead of increasing your cost, you can increase your revenue instead. Focus on increasing revenue, focus on decreasing cost, then decreasing revenues, focus on reducing or cutting down cost, and focus on gathering some resources than the others which are costlier. Okay, great. So with this we are ending today's class. I hope you have understood what I have tried to explain. I have not gone line by line here because I know all of these things. I have summarized it up in my own words and have made you understand. I hope you like this video. Please do share it with your friends and your friends and in your group who are pursuing your first semester in MCOM. Okay, first semester. All right. See you in the next class. Thank you so much.